Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Alejandro Perez, the CGI Nerd, and in this video we're going to be talking about the design process that I've gone through to sketch out a concept for the character I'm going to be making for the game. Um, and really, it's kind of like a lot about thinking through the process and also just experimenting. So when I started off sketching out, I had a circle that I kind of drew in there because I knew that my character is going to be inside of a world that's mostly like planets and things that are organic shapes, at least to start off with. I was thinking of some other concepts for the future, but right now, just thinking about the planet, it's going to be circular in shape, and I needed something that contrasted with it. So when I went through, I started coming up with shapes that were squares and triangles. So you got three major design shapes that you can work with, and like every shape that you work off of is really a splinter of that type of shape. So you have circles, squares, and triangles. Typically, when you're thinking of circles, they're things that are cute or funny, or that they have feminine type of quality, so feminine type curves and things like that. So a lot of times drawing circles and curve type shapes, that's what we're thinking of. A lot of cartoony characters have a lot of curved circular shapes. And then I have things that are square. So squares are strong, supportive, structured, and if you look at a lot of hero type characters, they are typically kind of built out of squares because of that stability type concept that people get in their mind when they see a squares. You think of books, they're credible. You think of doorways and houses, they're kind of predominantly square or box type shapes because they make it feel like it's a really good sturdy shape that is able to support things. And it's not just physically square like that. It can also be just a square like emotionally, like it's supportive emotionally, or concepts like that. Then finally, we also have triangles, and triangles are shapes that are more scary. They are dangerous or evil, things like that. So when you think of pointy triangle type shapes, you think of knives, you think of spikes, you think of things that are really going to hurt you, and that's why it gives you that vibe of being scary or evil or dangerous or anything like that. So I went through the concept, and I started off with some like generic square and triangle shapes, and they kind of look like more like drones. I was trying some cylinders and things that would really stand out as very different from the things that I'm going to have in my game, like planets, asteroids, meteors, black holes, and things like that. So I decided to go with more of a square shape because it's going to be our main hero character, and also the idea that it's going to be a robot, so it's mechanical. That makes sense with the square. And then just thinking of the line quality, kind of the major line quality type things are organic, which is going to be the um, environment that it's going to be in, like the circles, the asteroids, and things like that. They have a lot of organic, smooth type curves. That's what I'm going to be aiming for. Then you have mechanical, which is going to be my robot. And the main like hero type characters, they're going to be more mechanical in structure. And then finally, you have kind of an erratic line that is just chaotic. And with the chaotic type characters, I am going to really I have kind of some ideas for like later on in the game, but probably for my initial development of the prototype, I'm not even going to touch that. But I was thinking kind of having a enemy race or something like that, and that could be predominantly like triangle shapes and erratic lines and stuff like that. Maybe things are like sticking out and jaggedy and just kind of looks a little bit weird that way. So I think that will work and works well. So then also when I was going through and designing, I was looking at different shapes. So like some of my early drawings, they were kind of like toaster shaped. And it just very basic kind of box with rockets or things like that. Then I tried triangles that were kind of more like the idea of it being able to move fast through space, but I didn't feel like it was very nimble that way. And one concept that I came out that you can see on the middle left over here is kind of like a space capsule for the Mercury missions. So I was thinking, what can I do with concepts like that for that idea? So with the Mercury capsule, when I drew that, I was thinking, oh, that would be really cool if I can incorporate it within the design. So if you look at the design that I'm working on the right here, you can see the little arms that are kind of like stabilizing engines right here. They are really that same design that we had on the left, where they are the capsules. So I'm using kind of mechanical like cylinder type shapes here because that's what the shape is from that, to give it a little bit of contrast. But pretty much everything in the design of that robot is squares. And then also, like, I kind of took it to the next level. Once I was thinking of the Mercury missions, I was thinking, oh, what if we used like the computers that were in that era and that whole like space race era. So when you look at those computers, they were like the CRT monitors with the black or green screens. Then you had like floppy drives, so those little things sticking out of the head that are kind of like wings, stabilizer wings, are kind of like the floppy drive handles. And then the bottom box part of the body is the kind of the main computer body. So back at that time, like, computers were like big boxes that would take up whole rooms, or they would be fitting inside of big buildings and stuff like that. So I was trying to take that boxy look of a tower that they would have that would run the computers that they were running at the time. And that first color design that I did on the top right there, that was kind of taking the concept of those, that like yellow greenish color that the computers and monitors had in the early days, to give it that feel. The second one I'm drawing on the bottom, I basically just copied and pasted, and I make whatever changes on the new one that I'm working on, and I want it to be kind of the hero of our story. Then I was thinking those little like stabilizing arms kind of remind me of Iron Man, so I tried Iron Man colors to be able to get it like that hero type look. And then I was thinking, well, if you have a main hero in your character, what's the iconic type of hero that you have? You have Superman, and that's the last color combination that I was working with. So I have the blue and red going with the Superman colors all the way on the right hand side of the screen. And I kind of like all three of them for different reasons, and I'm not sure which one I'm going with yet, but I'm thinking maybe the center top one. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards that design because it is really interesting to me to keep that kind of mentality of working based off of a lot of designs from the original Mercury missions from NASA, back when, at the beginning of the space race and things like that, and maybe giving him a personality of one of those original astronauts. I'd have to read more about the Mercury 7 and things like that. I have been really fascinated with space travel and things like that in the past, so I think I really like that. But let me know in the comments down below which kind of these three color combinations you really like, and tell me why you like it. I think that would be very helpful. But the idea of designing this character was really kind of that base process. I started off with the general idea that I wanted to do a box. Then I decided that I liked the Mercury capsule type things for the arms, and I wanted it to be more than just a drone flying through it, to give it more personality. So I added kind of a head and body type thing. Also, I knew that I did not want the character to be too complex because I didn't want to spend all my time in animation. So the arms, you have the arms and the hands, but the hands come down to inches, so there's no individual fingers, which is great. The body ends there, so we don't have any legs on the bottom that we would have to animate. Again, that's great. And if we look at the facial features, we do not have anything except eyes on the monitor, and I feel like we could do like a digital animation type of effect where we can see the character's eyes in different shapes for different expressions and things like that, so that would be great. And then the little fins that are like stabilizers, those could potentially be used for emoting as well. So it's kind of like a dog's ears or something like that, where it gets excited, it might go up, or it droops down if it's scared or worried or something like that. So I think there's a lot of personality and ability to be able to animate that in the future, but it's also really kind of considering that I'm working by myself. I don't have a lot of time to be able to go rig a whole bunch of things, and I have even less time to animate all these extra little details. So I'm trying to come up with an interesting design that is more simple but still aesthetically pleasing and kind of makes sense for the idea of the game that I'm working on. So taking all those things into consideration, I came up with this final design. So I hope you guys found this useful. That is kind of my whole design process for this character thus far. This is just an early sketch. But other than that, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.